All right, CNT120, Chap4Lab. We're on part 4 on TCP. Now, hopefully you remember with UDP that we just got done talking about, that was a way to efficiently, quickly send voice, video, or stuff that really couldn't be delayed. Now we're shifting gears to TCP. TCP is here for reliability. A little bit of delay is okay because we want to make sure the entire email gets there. A little delay is okay because we want to make sure the entire web page gets there, the entire file gets there. So TCP is going to have some extra header fields and extra overhead to make sure that all the data gets packaged up and sent, and if something goes missing, we can request it or find it, if you will. So we want to look at the three-way handshake that gets set up before the data exchange occurs. And that handshake is a way for, your computer and the server to get on the same page so that as you're sending data back and forth, you know what everything is accounted for. Well, we're going to look for that three-way handshake that sets up that data transfer. So let's go to our packet sniffer. We're going to filter, and we want to make sure we just pick TCP and HTTP. So let's go to our packet sniffer. We'll clear out the DNS packets from before, edit filters, and we want to do, we got rid of the IP4 there, nothing on IP6. Under miscellaneous, we want to get rid of the UDP, and now we just want to have HTTP, there you are, and we now need just TCP. There we are. Okay, so just those two. I'll close that. We see those down there. And what we're going to do on our Fill It Off Your Laptop, we're going to open up the web browser again and load the web page. And we should see the TCP three-way handshake, and then the HTTP transfer occurs that loads the web page. So I'll open up the Fill It Off Your Laptop again. And let's open up our web page. Oops, no, we don't want the command prompt. There we go, web browser. And we'll load up the CNT.org web page again. You can do it, little browser. You can do it. www.cnt.org. We'll let that load. That should have been enough traffic for the three-way handshake to occur, and then the actual HTTP data transfer to occur, so it loads our web page, if you will. So I'm going to close that out. I'll open up my sniffer, and sure enough, there we go. We got some TCP, HTTP. Well, we're looking at these three TCP right here. 1, 2, 3 should be my three-way handshake. So let's highlight this first one. I want to make this wider so we can get a good look at it. Source address should be the laptop. 9EDA makes sense. The destination is hopefully our server, 2BCD. And if I actually highlight over the server over here, what do we got? 2BCD, there you go. Okay, so we're looking at from the laptop to the server. Now let's go to, here's your IP header from the laptop to the server. 30.4 makes sense. We're going to keep going. Let's look at the TCP header now. So let's take a look at, scrolling down through here, let's take a look at these fields that we see in TCP. The first thing we should notice is we have a lot more header fields than we did in UDP. Yeah, because we need more for keeping track of everything. So we do have the source port. That's from my browser, 1026. Destination 80 should make sense. 80 is HTTP, so my web server. We now have a couple fields here of the sequence number, acknowledgement number. Well, sequence number is a way to number all the bytes, if you will, leaving my computer. And that way the other end can say they got it, or if they're missing, they can say, hey, I'm missing these bytes or these range of bytes. The acknowledgement number is after I've received something, I can acknowledge what I got, what just got sent to me, and I can send a note back to the sender of like, hey, I got these bytes so far. So these are now going to get used. We number everything, and then we acknowledge what we received. Here we have a couple fields. Offset, if we have anything out of order, this helps get it back in the correct order. Frag offset or offset, it lets us know where in this data stream it would be located. Here's our flag fields to let us know what is this. In this case, what handshake. We're going to look at that in a second. There's our window field letting us know how many bytes can be sent at a time before an acknowledgement is needed. And then we have a checksum. This is your header checksum. And then eventually we get our data down here. So a lot more header fields, but these are all necessary to keep track of everything and basically find something or request something if it goes missing. That's what we're seeing there now. So let's look a little closer. Let's look at the flag fields now, and we're going to look at this binary number, and we're going to focus in on the last 6, if you will, last 6 digits here. So if I look at the last 6 digits, I think that's what Mr. Brown has copied right there. We see that, and then we have 10. Well, the 10, if I take a look, 10, this right here, the synchronization bit is set. So this is the synchronization. This is your first handshake. This is your first TCP handshake. So in my text file, let's go over here. I'm going to do part 4. I'm going to start keeping track of this right now. We'll see TCP. And I want to put in here that this is my first TCP handshake. Actually, I'm going to highlight this. Come on now. Come on now. There we go. I will put this in my text file. And I'm going to put this here. My binary fields, the last 2 bits, if you will, were my 10, what we had. So this meant that this is the synchronization field is set. So this is my first handshake. Well, let's look at the second TCP in my line here. And let's look at the next one down. And we now see the destination address is the laptop coming from the server. So this is going the other direction now. Source from the server coming back to laptop. Again, this is the handshake going the other direction. From the server, port 80, back to my laptop browser, 1026. The acknowledgement number went up by 1 because we sent 0. It acknowledges that, saying the next thing from you is 1. It's sending 0 because it's like, hey, I'm just starting. We'll see its window size is smaller because it's a server. Sometimes it gets busy. And then here is the header or the flag fields we have that we see. And we try to highlight those 6. So we have 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. So we have the acknowledgement field and the sync field set. It acknowledges my synchronization and it says, oh, by the way, let me send you my synchronization. So this is indeed the second handshake. So let's go here and put this in our text file. Again, I'm going to come down here, second line here. Here's my second handshake. And we now have 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. And we have the acknowledgement and the sync field set. That's what we see with that. So let's look at the next TCP handshake that we have captured, the third one. This one right here, and we should see it flip around again. The source coming from the laptop to the server, source coming from the laptop to the server, source coming from the laptop to the server. We acknowledge their synchronization number of 0, and we now have sequence number 1 because this is the second thing we've sent. We started at 0, now we've gone up to 1. Here's our flag bits here. There's our 6, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This now would be my acknowledgement, my last handshake, my acknowledgement. So let's put these in my text file as well. Let's get this over here. This will be my third handshake. I'm getting rid of some of my extra data here. And we had, let me get back here again. Yeah, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Yeah, so let's copy that guy in. And this is truly my acknowledgement number, my third handshake. So sync, acknowledge, and acknowledge. That is indeed my third handshake. So there's my 3-way handshake. And now that both sides have communicated, and now they know what the sequence numbers are. We can now start sending data back and forth. If something goes missing, we can reference it by byte number, if you will. Hey, we're missing byte numbers, blah. And it would be a range, because the window would let us know how much, if you will, how much of a byte range that we would be missing. And now we have our HTTP data, and then eventually we have these closing out our session. Okay, that's what we'd be seeing down there. So there's my 3-way handshake. I need to save my text file so I don't lose my progress. And I want to save my packet tracer file so I don't lose my progress. We'll come back in the next part and we'll start looking at IP version 4.